I'll talk to you about what you should be doing for this week ending in March 10, Friday, March 10. We are right here on Wednesday, March 8. So, you should be receiving this document in your email today. I'm sharing a copy with you via Doctopus. You're going to get an email from me. This is your copy. Your advisors should also have physical copies for you if that's going to help you get things organized a little bit better. But this is your map for everything you need to be doing between now and DOL week. So the full calendar, which you should have already seen, is down here, but up here are your deadlines in order. Basically every Friday between now and DOL week, we have deadlines. And when you get them done, what you're going to do is you are going to put an X in there, and then you're going to prompt your advisor and me to look at it. And then when we think it's good, we'll put our initials in there, okay? Or maybe your advisor will put the initials in there if they're approving it. But basically, last Friday, you should have completed your intro slides, which should have included your goal statement. If you have not done that, you're behind. Can you still pass the DOL in April? Yes, but you're behind, and you need to do something about that. This Friday, you should have your Reflection 1 slides done as a complete draft. If you met last Friday's deadline and you've been using the time that you should have been getting an advisory to work on it this week, that shouldn't be a hard thing to do. Then next week will all be all about revising those slides for Reflection 1. Then we have a similar cycle with Reflection 2. Those deadlines get a little funny because that's right around the end of the quarter, and maybe you're using something from this quarter and you want to wait till you do your class level mini DOLs and then use some of the work that you did there to do your Reflection 2 slides. And then this should say April. April 10th through 14th, you will be doing your practice DOL presentations. So, back to the deadline that you should already have met. You should have done your intro slides. On your slides that have been shared with you, we're talking about slides 1 and 3. Slide 2 is the instructions for what you should be doing. I talked about that in another video. But slides 1 and 3. Maybe you decide to expand 3 into multiple slides, but you introduce yourselves to us, and then you gave us your goal statement in which you told us what goal you are working towards and how you're working towards it by working on 2 learning outcomes at New Tech. So I sent to all of you multiple times via email and to your advisors these example slides. So this was leaning really hard into design and theme. That might be applicable to some of you. It's not applicable to all of you, but you might see an opportunity like this. Say you are one of those people who came to New Tech because you want to work in game design and you heard about our computer science pathway. Well, maybe you decide to theme your whole presentation around that. You want to become a game designer and you're really into fantasy action RPGs, and you decide to do your intro slide to tell us that you're a huge video game nerd and tell us what you're working on by setting it up as a character creation scene like you have at the start of so many video games. When you're selecting your character class, your career, video game designer as opposed to animator, writer, programmer, etc. Talk about your special attribute of your very creative person, and how you are prioritizing your collaboration skills and your computer science knowledge and thinking skills, because those are the two learning outcomes you're going to be talking about. So those are the attributes that you're putting all of your points into right now. And then you've got a sentence stem that you filled out and said, I am preparing for a future as a video game designer by developing my coding skills and becoming an effective collaborator. And then you move on to your reflection. Okay, you might have done something to this level, you might not have already, but something else we would like to see in addition to the slides themselves is for you to then down here in this speaker note space actually write out what you plan to say. So I might load this up in the presentation and say, thank you for being here. I'd like to introduce myself to you. My name is Zach Jareb, and I came to New Tech because I'm a huge gamer. I absolutely love action RPG video games, and I love playing them so much. And I noticed I had some skill in the STEM field in addition to some creativity. So I thought I'd like to be a video game designer. And I heard about the computer science pathway at New Tech and the video game design class. And so that's why I decided to come here. And so I'm preparing for a future as a video game designer by developing my coding skills and becoming an effective collaborator through my work here at New Tech. So I'm going to talk to you about 2 projects I have done over the past years at New Tech in which I developed my coding skills and my collaboration skills to show you how I'm preparing to become a video game designer. For my first project, I will be talking about my video game 1 project in my computer science 2 class video game design. Okay, so that all I just said, you'd have that drafted up down here in the speaker notes space. So that's what we would like you to have already done. And some of that's a little bit new information, but you should get on that. Slides done, and then a draft of what you would actually say written in the speaker note space. Now, for this week, the deadline that you should be trying to meet is a complete draft of your Reflection 1 slides. So on the template, that's slides 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so you name the project, you tell us what class it was for, what the driving question was, explain what you're asked to create, describe thoroughly the steps you took to do the project and what your answer to the driving question was and how your project proves that driving question. You showcase the product itself, then you reflect on 1 learning outcome rubric row and bullet point set, and you really dig into what you see in your work that proves that point. And then at your closing slide for that reflection, you connect back to your stated goal of what it is that you're intending to do after high school, what it is that you are preparing for. So you should be able to take work from your mini DOLs that you've done in class and use it to work on these slides. Some of it's going to be straight copy and paste. Some of it, like the stuff that's highlighted, wasn't prompted as clearly in the mini DOLs, and so it will need to be added in. If you want to look at some examples, and I'll get you the links for this, there are some example sophomore DOL reflection slides. This link is already available to you. I think I've already emailed it to you. So again, these slides are from last year, and so there are some differences. Last year, students weren't prompted to write a goal statement about their future. It was a little more nebulous than that, and so there aren't clear connections between the goal statement and what they have in their reflections. And also note that these are examples of slides. They do not convey what the students actually said. These students all gave good presentations. There's a lot that they had planned out and said that you can't necessarily see from the slides. And so you need to be thinking about both aspects of this. What needs to be on the screen and what you need to say. They are different things. So, for example, one, we had someone talking about some work from Media One, and they had some embedded video examples of some of the raw footage they were working with as part of the project, some photos from their part through it, from their work through getting the raw pieces and assembling the product, more footage from along the way, documentation of their editing process that they talked through thoroughly, talked about their feedback process, and then finally the final product embedded playable, which we were able to watch during the course of the presentation, and then reflection on the actual rubric with clear visual annotation of how they rated themselves, and then they gave a thorough explanation verbally on this slide of why they rated themselves that way. So it doesn't necessarily come across in the slide why they gave that rating, but it was part of their presentation. Now, if this person were doing it this year, they would, on this slide, be connecting back to their stated goal of preparing for a future doing whatever it was. We have second slide, a second work example talking about the work through the winter narrative, with some specific evidence annotated. On this set of slides, you note they have some notes in the speaker notes that give us some indication about what they were thinking. Here we see someone reflecting on their robotics project and their revolutions essay. So these example slides are all available to you. You need to have a complete draft of your reflection one, that is slides 4 through 10 in the template, done this Friday, March 10. Again, this should not be too heavy a lift because you should have already identified your projects that you would be reflecting on when you're working on your intro slides and your goal statement. And you should have already done a mini DOL on this project in your classes that gives you a lot of the raw material that you need to populate those slides. And so it's a matter of making sure that you have a clear connection to your goal statement, individualizing your design and reflection, and polishing things up. So, you need to do everything you can to get caught up to this deadline and stay on these deadlines between now and our practice week in April, because we are right here on the 8th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks is when your presentations start. Okay? Because spring break, we don't have school. So deadlines are closer than they appear. Good luck, guys.